Alex Jones here, back live. I'm going to be popping in tonight in the first hour for a news segment on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. They want me to come on and talk about Senate moves to allow military to intern Americans without trial. I'm going to start taking your phone calls in a moment. Is anybody concerned about this? Or as Ron Paul has said, they're now going to kill U.S. citizens without a trial, including here in the U.S. And Ron Paul, 4 debates ago, looked at the snickering media and Necklace Johnson and said to him, hey, you could be next. This isn't a joke. You know, in every case in history, when this stuff happens, it is those very people that serve the system that are crushed. You know, in a true tyranny, your competitors will lie about you. And it isn't like it's some restaurant lying about your restaurant and saying you got cockroaches. It's the secret police coming and grabbing your butt. And then it's your competitor the next month that gets drug away. I've studied history. This is not a system we want to go into. And I keep saying that. Danger, Will Robinson. You know, Robbie the Robot, danger, danger, danger approaching from the southeast. This is not good where we're going. I'm going to go to your calls and do a ton of news here in a moment. There's a bunch of it I haven't gotten to yet, dealing with the police state, forced inoculations, and more. Oh, and by the way, I did remember and actually dig it out. Couldn't find it this weekend. I got back last Wednesday from my Southwest trip. I shot all this high-def video. I'm going to do some special reports for the nightly news soon. And I want to do it all in one fell swoop. In fact, I may do it in a couple reports now that I think about it, but tonight on the nightly news, I will get into this. This is the Independent, and this is a newspaper for multi-city area of New Mexico based in Gallup. And I told the story. You know, I always forget and think that I'm just doing a TV show here, even though it, at its base is a radio show. That's where the millions of listeners are. But we got people watching on Prisonplanet.tv and later on the web when it gets posted in different places. But if you give me a document cam shot, I'll show people this. It says, Gallup police officers, Josie Bowman left and Nicola Martinez set up a sign at a sobriety checkpoint at the 3rd Street and Maxwell Avenue, January 29, 2010. File photo. The checkpoint was staffed primarily by female officers as part of the Ladies' Night Out DWI prevention campaign. And then they go on to say they're going to do it again this year. Warrantless checkpoints where they search your cars. And it's always for good reason. Oh, and now they have the Army out at some of these and the Marines, to stop drunk driving. Sure you do. Task Force reducing DWI-related fatalities. See, get rid of that Bill of Rights. Everything's okay. Let the bankers take all the money. And it's all about how the feminism is striking back at the evil males. But see, I happen to know the anthropology and the sociology of the area. You see that Navajo symbol on her arm? The Thunderbird and all the rest of it? Everything is run by women out there. And let me tell you, it's a nightmare. Not that women are bad, but this is always what police states are like. And I pointed this out to Richard while we're in the gas station. I'll talk about it more tonight. And the woman behind the counter, even though there were like 2 people ahead of us, said, that's right. You'll be surprised what women can do. Who are you? And started this whole power trip. And I got back in her face, and I don't think she'd ever experienced it. And she was groveling by the end of it. But good Lord, I tell you, it's and then I've got this Grand Canyon deal they give the kids. And we were dressed down by a female ranger there while we were there as well for no reason. I mean, they're there to let you know. They're going to serve the New World Order. It's like Hitler said, first you get the women, then you've got the children, so follow the men. House slaves were always women, whether it was a white German the Romans had or a African black woman on an East Texas plantation. It's the psychology, not that women are bad, but they believe on average on the good of having tyranny for everyone. You can give them a story and they'll go with it. What does the Bible say? That will set women up above you, on top of you, over you, and your children. And that's the modern system. Don't discipline your children. Let them act as bad as they can so they can drug them up, so they can put them in prison. Your kid acts like a total animal till they're 13 and then goes to prison. See, it's not fun anymore. It's all how to destroy society. And I got this Grand Canyon activity book. I got to highlight these and get screenshots of it. And it says, tell your parents, don't, turn their lights out. Don't take hot baths. Got a couple of these. Pretty amazing. I'll probably cover this tonight or maybe tomorrow night because I've got to download all the footage. I haven't even done that yet. I was here Friday and Sunday, but a lot of the crew was out. I've got like 3 or 4 reports I got to file from road trips. By the way, in the new year, I'm just going to announce it now. I'm going to do the first trip in late January. I'm going to go to Dallas. I'm going to go to Houston. Then I'm going to go to, I haven't picked a spot yet, in Louisiana, Mississippi, and then a couple places in Florida. Of course, right there in Orlando, where we're #1. I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna just bam, 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 go give speeches, have events, because they always brag about Glenn Beck getting 1,000, 2,000 people out. I mean, without even trying, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I could get 2,000 people out. So we're gonna, and it's good to have folks get together. We're gonna do some big stuff. I gotta get on my horse and get all this set up, but it's all coming. Okay, I'm going to go to your calls here. Who's up next here? Let's talk to Henry in California, listening on XM 166. You're on the air, Henry.
Hi, Alex. I just wanted to talk to you real briefly about how you mentioned at the start of the show. I believe it's the free Onyx deal that they're giving away. The XM, that is.
Yes, I just heard the ad about free portable radio, and that's not a paid commercial. I was saying I'm going to get one of those.
Because definitely, I have a lifetime subscription to XM, and I want to say there was a period before you filled in the slot on America's Talk where I basically did not listen to America's Talk. I thought it was one of the worst channels on there. But within the short period of time that you've been on America's Talk, I really think you rallied the whole channel around and into force. I believe, honestly, you could probably have your own channel if you were to somehow negotiate the contracts. I know it's not, with XM, not even about the bandwidth. You have to have the contracts. People have to be there to listen to it. But I honestly think that it could compete for the bandwidth. And,
well, I mean, it was about 2 years ago or more. XM just fell in our lap. We didn't even really, I guess over time listeners had approached them. And I know Ted had talked to them, and they said, yeah, no, because they saw ratings on terrestrial radio around the country. We can take small stations and make them #1. So they put us on at night, and then it did good. They put us on during the day. And it's wonderful because anybody can get an XM receiver and listen to the show. And again, I personally, for whatever reason, would never get, I guess I hadn't bought a car in many years, so I never had XM. And then 3.5 years ago, I bought a Dodge Charger, and it had Sirius in it. And of course, I listen to radio all the time. And we also have a portable one you can take around the house, but it's an older system. Now I can listen to all the TV channels, but not look at them. It's hard to look at the wicked devils on CNN and other channels. Listening to them isn't as painful, even though, I mean, looking at them, it's the whole flicker rate and the TV thing. I've stopped watching TV, and it's brought me back into being able to analyze what they're up to on television, that I can skip through television. I mean, they've got hundreds of TV stations on there. And so, yes, I am a XM Sirius addict. And I'm not saying that because I've been on there 2 years now. I have begun to listen. I don't listen to myself, because that's torture, but I occasionally, I take off the day, and then I can listen to one of the guest hosts sitting there, and my children like to listen. But anything else, sir?
Yes, I wanted to add those little portable radios as a lifetime user of one. They have saved me in a few situations by being able to find south with the sheer, geosynchronous orbit, all the math, yada, yada. You can probably get into, all the things you need to about moving around, how it's better with GPS. But the rudimentary idea that you can find south with those things has saved me a lot of time. I can turn it on. Am I pointing south somehow? And I can find my bearing from there. I know that'll help somebody out there. You know what I mean?
All right, thank you. I appreciate the call, Henry. Yeah, no, I love XM, and I am. I just told them out there, we're looking at that system. I'm going to get 2 of them here in the office. Plus, if POTUS or something's giving a speech, why wire it off the television? Or why wire it off whitehouse.gov? We'll just stream the sucker, right off XM and plug XM while we're at it. Okay, let's go ahead and talk to Rick in California. Thanks for holding, Rick. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Pleasure to speak with you, Prisonplanet TV member.
Thank you.
Alex, just 2 quick points if there's time. I've been a prosecutor for nearly 30 years in California. And the first point is it's very difficult, at first to wrap your mind around a lot of these concepts. It takes time. And what woke me up more than anything was the chemtrail issue. I mean, there it is in full, smoking gun in the sky, spraying everywhere. And you call people about it, congressmen, whatever, and they lie to you and tell you that it's condensation. I mean, that's just absolutely infuriating.
Exactly. We are living in the beginnings of a artificial environment, false reality. It's not there yet, but when you actually read the globalist white papers, their own public reports, they talk about building this even 100 years ago, 80 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. It's all there. And you find out, wait, you're putting fluoride in my water? You know it increases cancer? You know it lowers IQ? You know it affects the pineal gland? Wait, you know the GMO is sterilizing every mammal species that eats it within 3 generations? Wait, you know vaccines are damaging kids? And that's what I'm saying. The police are good, the prosecutors are good in the past on average, but everyone has slowly just been twisted with Jack Bauer torturing people and all of this to now, oh yeah, the army's on the street, what's the big deal? We've just slowly been incrementally, like the frog in the pot, brought into this. Go ahead, you've been holding, I'll shut up.
It's just, you presume in the regularity of government if you're a guy like me in Northern California, a deputy DA, and you're prosecuting criminals, and then, your mind is blown apart, Alex, by the realization and the wake-up that comes with this. I mean, can you imagine in Arizona, where there's no humidity and they're saying that's condensation and it stays there for 3 hours and, bleaches the sky and, whitens it. And I mean,
but it's worse. It's worse than that. 16 years ago, Clifford Carnicom and all these environmental researchers were getting aircraft tests and they were saying it's aluminum dioxide, barium salts, all this other stuff. And then the government comes out 3 years ago and goes, there is a giant secret test, but we won't tell you the details. We've been spraying and list everything that the old-timers said. And then you find the patents to add it to the jet fuel, and then you find out about the Department of Energy programs, and then you find out about UN treaties in 1976, and then you find out about the chemtrail legislation 2002. Exactly. It's crazy.
We're being lied to. And this is the mind blower for me. The other point, very quickly, the whole notion of conspiracy theorist, that ought to be rejected. The new term ought to be whistleblowers. That's what these people are. They're just whistleblowers. Larry McDonald told us in 1983 he was a congressman and he was mysteriously shot down over Soviet airspace. He was the head of the John Birch Society. I love that video. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Oh, no, they made a deal. They made a deal with him on CNN, his other speeches. They made a deal to land him. And they took him off, and it was to confirm they basically tortured him over several years. Our own criminal government let Russia do that to get rid of him because he was smart, good-looking, charismatic. Larry McDonald scared the system bad.
So Ron Paul, and there he is on Crossfire in 1983 talking about the New World Order. And they were looking at him like he was crazy. And he said, look, gentlemen, a conspiracy is just a criminal agreement between 2 or more people. That's all it is. And Eisenhower talked about it in the military-industrial complex.
Listen, let me add to this. Rick, you're on fire with these points. We ought to play that CNN sometime.